Hadouken! Hadouken! Hadouken!
Street Fighter Alpha.
Hello, welcome to another episode, the latest episode of Fighting Game Fridays. And today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Street Fighter Alpha. Street Fighter Alpha came off of the arcades back in 1994? 95? Shit, I don't remember. I should have looked that up. And it's basically a prequel to the Street Fighter 2 series. 10 characters, 12 if you count the 2 hidden ones. I will discuss them a little later. But in the meantime, yeah, so basically this game came out. It was kind of like the bridge between Street Fighter and Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 had a kind of like when they did the backstory of Street Fighter 2. I don't know, they probably had it better in Japan, but when it came to America, it was pretty butchered. Because you know, at the time, the difference between American translation and Japanese translation were two completely different stories in the same game. As you're saying, I'm playing as Charlie, or known as Nash in Japan, or here as, you know, Charlie Nash. You might know something a little different about, a little familiar about Charlie. I would say different. Familiar about Charlie, he seems to be moving like Guile. This is the Charlie that Guile kept mentioning in various times in Street Fighter 2. Yes, Charlie, turns out, was at one point Guile's commanding officer and friend, and the one who taught him how to fight, or how to fight in his style. I'm pretty sure Guile knew how to fight because, you know, he joined the military. He the one that taught him the Sonic Boom and the Flash Kick, even though Charlie's Flash Kick is no more powerful than Guile's Flash Kick, because he does it too. He hits twice with his Flash Kick. So yeah, basically, you know, same Street Fighter formula, fight things at random. Now you might notice a lot of the Z forming on the screen. If you look up there in the counter between the life bars, you see a Z up there, and between matches, it does a little Z formation. That's because in Japan, this was known as Street Fighter Zero. And for some reason it was called Street Fighter Alpha when it came here to America. So as you can see, Ryu, whatever you want to call him, is back. And he's kind of like close to his Street Fighter 1 form. As you can see, he has the white headband. Excuse me, I'm drinking water while I'm doing this. I have like really severe dry mouth right now. So, yeah, so pretty much revamped, added like a little bit of a combo system. The game art style was trying to focus more on to look like. Try to look more like the Darkstalker series, which came around the same time and did the whole anime thing. Another reason why this version came out is because the Street Fighter 2 animated movie. And a lot of stuff happened in that movie that kind of inspired the animated form here, and to focus more on the backstory of all the Street Fighter characters, and kind of throughout the series explain what happened in Street Fighter, everything that led up to the events of Street Fighter 2. Which added like a way more ridiculous storyline in the Alpha series than the Street Fighter 2. As you see, Ken is also back, Ken and Ryu making their return, as they do in all Street Fighter games. Most of these characters you've already seen in Street Fighter 2 anyway, except with the new character Rose, which sorry, did not show up in this playthrough for whatever reason. Didn't come across her. I did mention there's actually 12 characters instead of 10. Actually, I'm sorry, there's 13 characters actually. I forgot to mention that, because 3 are hidden. Those 3 obviously being Dan, Akuma, and Bison. Now, Bison will show up as a boss character for certain characters. As Akuma, he will make a certain appearance if you fulfill a certain condition. I'm sure Dan does too. You can actually pick these characters and play as them if you do it right. Now I'm playing on the Street Fighter Alpha Anthology Collection. I love that collection. I remember when I first got it, I played for like hours. It was like, shit. It was awesome. So yeah, basically if you go on, there's a couple of different ways you can do it. I think if you go on the little random selector, it's a little question mark in the bottom. And if you hit the button just the right time, you can get one of the 3 hidden characters. Either be Bison, Akuma, or Dan. And anything like that. So yeah, as you can see, the super combo meter does make a return, and this time you can go up to 3 levels. Up to 3 levels, and you can actually use the power, the strength of the move depends on how many buttons you push. Say, for example, if you go to do a level 1 super combo, you just hit a punch button. 1 punch button, and it goes into the, and you do the level 1 one. Do level 2, you hit 2, and to do level 3, you hit all 3 punch buttons, which you can assign to a, if you're playing on, like, the PS2 version, you can assign 3 punch or kick buttons to, 1 button. Or you can do that anytime you want, I guess. So, yeah, and for some reason, Charlie says that a lot during his win quote. He's like, oh, Uncle Sam could use you. He says it, like, all the time. I don't know why I keep saying this one. And now we have Birdie. Birdie actually did make an appearance, and he is not a new character. He's got kind of revamped for the Alpha series. He was in Street Fighter 1. He's one of the characters when you go to England. Besides Birdie. Wait, no. What was the other guy? Eagle. That's right. Birdie and Eagle. Didn't think of that. But yeah, and if any of you play Street Fighter, you might have noticed Birdie looks a little different here than he did in Street Fighter 1. And in Street Fighter 1, he was a white guy. And for some strange reason, which really isn't explained until I think Street Fighter Alpha 3, that's why he was turned into a black guy. Basically, he said he was sick, so he was kind of pale, and that's kind of why he lost. He lost in the first World Warrior tournament because he wasn't feeling good. He had the flu or something. That's the story they go by. But he's basically a charged character. He is a pain in the ass when he wants to be. He's a pretty dangerous character in the right hands. He does that thing with the chain. He does use that chain in certain attacks like throw and stuff. Even though he's from England, his stage for some reason seems to be Italy. And he's there in the Coliseum. So yeah, this game had the habit of characters sharing stages. I think like Birdie and Rose use this stage, and such. Gee, Uncle Sam could use a lot of these people. Next character is Saddam, who you might recognize from, well, the Final Fight series. Yes, a couple of Final Fight characters made their way into this game. At this point, it was Saddam and Guy, who have their own personal reason for being here. There's no actual tournament within this series. I mean, in Street Fighter 2 series, there's a tournament. Street Fighter 3, there's a tournament. In this one, it's just random fighters traveling the world and beating the crap out of each other. It's pretty much a storyline for a common goal. Saddam, of course, is, or Sodam, I don't know how I say his name, Saddam. It's supposed to be like Sodom and Gomorrah, crap like that. He was a character in the Final Fight series. He was a boss, and you fight him in a ring. He's a really huge Japanese buff. I guess he's a big fan of the Japanese culture, even though he's like actually a American guy. But he likes to fight like he uses Japanese weapons. He tries to speak Japanese, or he butchers a lot of what he says. I think, if I remember correctly, that Japanese symbol means one thing, but he thinks it's another thing. So something like that. So. Oh, another thing introduced in the Street Fighter series was air blocking. Yes, that's right. Now characters can block while in the air. This can actually be a good and a bad thing. It's good. Oh, what the fuck was that? Damn. So slow down. I didn't notice during the initial programming there, I guess. It's kind of a good thing because it helps you out, but it also works against you when you go ahead and fight character, and he goes, you can go ahead and blocks all your shit in the air. It's a pain in the ass. It did take me a few tries to go through some of these characters. For the most part, I had to continue like once almost every character, except when I got to these two here, Adon and Sagat next. I had a bitch of a time. Adon, yes, once again returning from Street Fighter 1. By the time of Street Fighter Alpha series, he hates Sagat for losing to Ryu. See, at the time, they didn't really explain the whole reason what really happened with Ryu. I mean, at the time, Ryu just happened to beat Sagat using the Dragon Punch. Later on in the series, they retcon that, or change it, say, oh, he was taken over by evil energy for his desire to win. But at the time of this, nobody really knew that, and everybody thought Sagat just turned evil and really hated Ryu for beating him because he was the world champion or whatever, or the best fighter in the world for like years. So yeah, that's what happened there. They didn't really establish that part of the story yet. That's something they talk about more coming in. Basically, more something that's mentioned at the end of Street Fighter Alpha 2 if you beat the game with Ryu, and if you happen to watch the 2 Street Fighter Alpha animated movies, which, you know, I really wouldn't recommend, especially the second version. Oh jeez, that was like way off. I guess they try to hint that Akuma might be Ryu's father now. I don't know if this is actual true or not. Capcom never really confirmed this or anything. As far as everybody knows, Ryu has no parents, or his parents were killed mysteriously. He was an orphan when Gouken found him. Gouken is his adopted father. It's quite possible that Akuma may or may not be his father, but, you know, never really established or proven by Capcom, and I am totally getting my ass kicked over here. Fuck you, Adon. Cheap bastard with the Jaguar kicks across the screen. Look at that shit. Jaguar kick. Jaguar kick. Fuck you. But nonetheless, I do manage to take him out eventually. So yeah, combo system a bit more refined in this one than the other ones. I thought it was a pretty good combo system. Made the game somewhat bearable. You can do like throws. Throws are still with the one button. You get close enough, you hit medium or hard button, and you throw the character. You do the little backbreaker there. And Uncle Sam could apparently use Adon too. No matter which character you use, the last 2 characters before the rival fight are going to be Adon and Sagat. I guess it's kind of like a mirror from Street Fighter, the first Street Fighter, because it's the same thing. The last 2 characters you fight are Adon and Sagat, and Sagat's the boss. But in this one, there's like 2 sub-bosses whenever the final boss is. Now with first 2 Street Fighter Alpha games, I actually did all 3 Street Fighter Alpha games, but in Street Fighter Alpha 1 and 2, the last character, there's no actual boss character. The last character was just a rival. And basically, you meet the rival character, they have a little dialogue, and that's the end of that, right? No problem. That's pretty much happened. That's kind of like introduced the series here. There's no real boss for the character. I guess the boss character could be whoever the rival is for whatever character you pick. I guess you can probably figure out who Charlie's going to be by now. But yeah, so if you're playing Sagat, he finds Ryu and stuff like that. If you're playing as Ken, he finds Ryu or something like that. There's some other ones that really, like I think Guy fights Ryu or something. Or maybe it's Bison, I don't know, I remember. It's been a while since I played this guy in Alpha 1. So yeah, it took me a couple tries to beat Sagat because he's a cheap bastard. Like, as always, just sits there and tiger shots you to death. And of course, Bison is going to be the final boss for the rival battle for m.bison. And there's a little dialogue. So you finally show your face. I'm taking you in, Bison. What do you want with me? You'll have a long time to figure it out. I pity that you shall die so young. And that was the dialogue. So yeah, basically you fight Bison here. He is a bit difficult until you kind of learn how to work around him. But yeah, he is kind of hard in this game to deal with. Not as hard as he was in Alpha 3, and which that will be discussed when we get to that point in time. But he is kind of a pain in the ass, and I really hope I didn't mess up and do the wrong fight here. And do the one where I actually lose. Because that'll make no sense. You'll see this, the ending, you'll see me lose, and you'll see the ending. You know, I think I did beat him. Oh god, I hope I beat him this one. This is gonna be a really stupid playthrough. I'm not doing this again if I messed up. So I'm really beginning to think I did the wrong fight. I edited the wrong fight here. If that's the case, I am gonna look like a total idiot. Oh yeah, I think I finally got him here. So yeah, like I said, Bison is Charlie's rival. This is like fleshed out the story leading up to the events that happens in Street Fighter 2, and I guess at one point Street Fighter 4. So yeah, what else did I say about Alpha at the time? Yeah, pretty much covered everything this time. The 10 characters, combos. Oh yeah, I guess they do. If you fulfill certain conditions, you can reenact the fight from the end of Street Fighter 2, the movie, where it does a dramatic battle where Ken and Ryu both face Bison. He takes them 2-on-1. And I think in the Japanese version they play a remix version of the music during that fight. In this game they just play his theme. So yeah, there's that. Like I said, certain conditions to fill characters. Dan makes his appearance here. I'll discuss more about Dan probably in the next episode. I think it's Street Fighter Alpha 2. And after you beat him, in typical Street Fighter fashion, you get the ending. Funny story about Charlie's endings in the Street Fighter Alpha series. In the first two, he dies. That's it. Yeah. He does all this, and it's supposed to depict his death. And this is the reason why Guile goes on, but his ending don't count because of because I kept making sequels. Strangely enough, in the end of Street Fighter Alpha 3, he does not die. Well, he doesn't die in his ending, but he will die in Guile's ending. And that will explain what happens to Charlie and stuff like that. So I guess what you're supposed to take from this ending is the people that Charlie answers to are on the take from Bison. He actually controls whatever branch of military that Charlie works for, and he ends up dying. Oh, there's Rose. And of course, you get your credits with the characters posing. Something that happened a lot in Street Fighter 2. I mean, if you beat it on the like a hard enough difficulty, you'll get like the little credits where they do a little fight pose. You get the music. It's kind of cool. There's Guy. And Stomp. So yeah, that was pretty much Street Fighter Alpha, the first one. Adon, Saddam, Adon, Saddam. I think they're the same guy. Chun-Li obviously has a different look. So yeah, that pretty much covered, like I said, covers Street Fighter Alpha. And most of the characters who return from Street Fighter 1 or 2 and make reappearances in this one. A trend that does continue in Street Fighter Alpha 2 when a few more characters show up. But like I said, when we get to Street Fighter Alpha 2, you'll see that. So, this has been another episode of Fighting Game Fridays. I hope you enjoyed it. And we'll see you next week.